Hello friends, welcome to Candy Shoppe Yarns, where everything is sugar-free and high in fiber. I hope you're ready for some crochet and knitting content. Let's get started. Has been a while. I've missed you. Have you missed me? So, I should introduce myself again. I'm Deborah. I'm the owner of Candy Shoppe Yarns, and here we like to talk all about fiber, all about knitting and crochet and some sewing, but today it's heavy on the crochet, some knitting, and then I have shop news at the end that you won't want to miss. So I've made show notes this time so I don't get off track, because it has been a while and I have a lot I want to share with you. I know that it has been a long time, so you're probably wondering where I've been. I've been right here just doing the same old that I'm always doing. But I just wanted to take a bit of a break, give myself a bit of a rest from all the craziness of social media, work, trying to manage business and life at the same time, and health. And so I'm still doing all of the same things, except I am no longer doing Patreon. I decided that was taking too much time away from the things that I really needed to focus on. So I still have my Patreon account there. I just have it on pause indefinitely so that patrons who have already joined can continue to access that content as they wish. So that's really all. I've just been enjoying life, being a grandma. I spent the summer going to the amusement park with my daughter and grandkids quite a bit. We got a new camping trailer. We sold our old motorhome that we refinished, that I love, but we sold it, got a new trailer. We've been exploring with that. We've just been doing a lot of things and loving life, gardening, but I'm really happy for the gardening season to be winding down, and now it's the challenge of trying to clean it all up. So let's get into the content that we're all here for. We're going to start with crochet today because I have quite a bit of that to share. So let's start off with what I'm wearing, and you would have seen in the intro. I love this one. This is the Granny Pop Cardigan by MJ's Off the Hook Designs. And I have made one of her projects before for my daughter this last year, where I made her a granny square cardigan. But that one I needed to modify quite a bit. This one I didn't modify at all. I made it as written. Luna, she's looking for her toys, but I was smart this time and I put them away because they all squeak. I forget every time. So this one I made with yarn that I purchased when Joann's was going out of business. And I used Lion Brand 24/7 cotton DK, and I crocheted the size medium. And it goes down to, fingertips, to my fingertips. I think I did make it, I may have made it a tiny bit shorter than the pattern calls for, because I knew it would grow to the size that it stated in the pattern. But it was really fun. It's just the granny stitch all the way through. What I really liked about this is that it's just made all in one piece. I was going to make, initially when I bought the yarn, I was going to make a hexy granny cardi, where you make 2 hexagons and seam them together. But then I thought, well, then I'm going to need to add on to the sleeves to make it that I want, the length I want. And then I'm going to need to add on to the body. And then how do I want to finish the edges? And there was a lot of just, oh, how am I going to do this and that? And then I remembered seeing this pattern, and I went back, found it, and went, that's really what I want. So I like how she does her ribbing. And crochet ribbing is a bit tedious, but I know for a lot of people, but I don't mind doing it. I enjoy it. I don't know, knitting ribbing can be tedious, so it's just that crochet typically is something that goes quite fast and then the ribbing slows down quite a bit. It took me as much time to do all of the ribbing around this band as it took me almost to do the whole body. So not the sleeves. I don't think I made the sleeves as long as the pattern called for, I think. Honestly, it's been a while, but I've had this put away just waiting for it to warm up or cool down enough for me to wear it. And it's finally cooled down enough, so I'm really enjoying it. Okay, what else did I do? Okay, this is one that I'm loving. So I have a friend who, Wendy, Granny Pen Knits on Instagram and on YouTube. She was talking about how she saw somebody make a neon crocheted, was it a vest? I can't remember. And wanted me to dye her some really bright and neon minis. And those were so much fun, and I was going to keep a set for me, and then I realized I have a lot of neons and bright yarns already in my stash left over from making my Lisa Frank Jungle Doodle cowl. So here are some of the leftovers. Luna, come sit down with me. Come on. So I had these colorful skeins left over, and then I dyed a more heavily speckled Jawbreaker, a couple of skeins for me, and then this is some leftover Bear DK weight yarn, and I've been using those to make, maybe showing the yellow ones first was not the best idea, to make these squares. I've got a lot of different ones. Some I've blocked, some I haven't. I have, I think, 21 made so far. And I just started making them for no reason. I just wanted to. I had the yarn and they looked fun. I love this one. So the pattern is a free pattern. It is the Field of Daisies free crochet blanket on yarnspirations.com. And I'm just making them until I know what I'm making. I'm thinking really that I'd like to make a cropped cardigan like I made for my daughter Nadia a year ago, or finished up this last year. But I'd have to make a lot of these, and I don't know if I have the patience for that or the yarn. We'll just have to see. I'm gonna make it until probably till I run out of the neons, and then I'll decide from there. Now I dyed this more heavily speckled Jawbreaker up to do another round around the outside of these, and then decided I didn't want to use it for that. I think that if I make a cardigan, I will use it only for like the ribbing and the button band and the wrist and the bottom ribbing. So that means that these won't be as big. I could add another row of Bear yarn to it to make it a little bit bigger. Let's see, how would these look? I gotta get some that are blocked so that we can kind of get an idea. Oh my word, that's so fun. Oh, that's fun. And then I saw where people put some together like this, and let's see, they had 4. Like I can't hold them together like that. And then they had a group of 4 here, and then they just crocheted a long scarf and put 4 more on the other end. So there's that. I don't know. We'll just see. I'm making them for the fun of making them. I've really been in a crochet mood. I haven't really been in a knitting mood for a while now. I have done a lot of knitting, but I really just want to crochet everything. So another thing that I've been making, so in my church women's group, we have a knitting and crochet group, and we are making blanket squares. So we're using acrylic yarn and making 8-inch squares of whatever pattern you want to make. It just needs to be 8 inches, and DK weight preferably, but some people are using worsted weight. And then they will get seamed together, made into blankets for some dialysis patients. So I've made 8 squares so far. So I can put pictures here of the ones that I've already taken to that group, but it's just been fun. Some of them were crochet dishcloth patterns from like really old crochet books that somebody brought in, or I'd look up online a fun stitch. Just trying to think. I just whatever stitch I could find. One was a granny square. So I made those 5, and then I came back and thought, well, I'll keep making more. They're fun because you make one and you're like, oh, well, I'm done. That's it. And then I could do another one when I feel like it, but one is a project on its own. So here's one. I saw a tutorial for making a heart granny square and I thought that was really fun, and then I added stripes around it. It turned out a little bit twisted. I don't know. I was following a YouTube video and the numbers didn't seem to line up. Mine didn't line up quite like hers, but it made a cute square, so that's fine. Then I made another granny square, but with a single yarn that was variegated. And then I did this one, but this one was actually larger. I was making a baby blanket and the edges were warping. So let's talk about that one. Where did I put that project? Right here. The edges were warping and I didn't know what to do about it. So I put a post up on Instagram asking for suggestions of how to fix it. And one of the suggestions was from my friend Wendy, who I've mentioned before. She said that often happens when you have too small of a crochet hook. So there's too much fabric in a small space. So you need bigger crochet hooks so that it opens it up more. So what I did is I ripped back, but this yarn was really hard to rip back. It was really hard to rip it out. It just wanted to stick so much. It was so tedious to pull it out. So I only got it back to about this far and decided I'm just going to have this be an 8-inch square because it, square for the blanket that we're doing. And it's really not warping at this size. It was as it was getting bigger. So I started over and went up 2 hook sizes, and I will tell you about that now. Okay, so first of all, the yarn that I'm using is Loops and Thread Soft Ombre. And the color is Emerald Spearmint White. It has 426 yards for 150 grams, and it is a polyester blend. And really what it is it's like a knitted tube maybe that's filled with fluff. So the fluff is really grippy. So anyways, here we go. I went up to a size 5 hook, and that worked quite well. It's still warping. It looks worse than it is here because it's been wadded up in my project bag. It's still warping, and another suggestion was to remove 1 stitch from each shell so that it's not spreading out as far. If you have fewer stitches, it's not going to be flaring out. And I did try that. The only problem is that this pattern really does rely on that number of stitches for each shell, because you're crocheting into a center one, and if you remove one, it's even numbers, and so you're off to one side or the other. So it still can work, it's just not as well. But I just am making this for fun because I have not been in the mood to knit. And even for a while, I'm just like, I don't even want to crochet anymore. And so really making these blanket squares has kind of just sparked me wanting to make things again. It just gave me that satisfaction of doing little things that are non-stress, non-commitment, no big commitment, no pressure. I can make however many I want, however few I want. I could make none, I could make 20. It doesn't really matter. And so that was really nice. And then trying out different stitch patterns made it fun. Trying out different colors made it fun. And it kind of just gave me some motivation again. So I just picked up, I had this yarn already in stash, not knowing what I was going to do with it. And when I made that square, I went, I'm gonna make a big one. So I'm just working on it bit by bit, no pressure. My focus right now is making whatever I feel like making in the moment. And if I don't feel like making it, I'm not doing it. No pressure to finish something for anybody or for myself, just for the pure joy of making. I'm always trying to work on shop samples, and I just get so burned out. Like making things for the shop, not necessarily for the things that I really need or want, or it's like, well, what would showcase this best? And so, after doing that for years, I'm like, I just want to make what I want to make. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, what else? Okay, this is the really, really fun part. My oldest daughter is expecting, and we are thrilled because she has really been struggling, trying for, I think, 6 years now. And it's been quite disheartening and depressing, honestly. And so I know how difficult that has been. And so to find out that she's expecting, we are just over the moon. So I have been making a lot of fun things, and I've already given her some of them, and some I haven't made, so I can't show some of the things, but there are things I can show. So one thing that I made was, now before we knew if she was having a boy or a girl, I still wanted to make things. And I didn't want to make gender neutral. I wanted to make really frilly, pretty girly things or really cute little boy things. She's kind of the same way. And so I was just like, I'm gonna make one of each until I know. So I started making, this is my making journal, my knitting and crochet journal. So it's where I write down all the things I made and my notes on it. I don't put it on Ravelry, just, it's how I like to do it. Okay. I made some Loveys, crochet Loveys. First one I made was this cute little pink bear, Lovey, with chenille yarn. I made this one because I had the yarn in stash. So the yarn is Burnout Blanket Blush Pink. That's a super bulky. And then I used a yarn from Hobbii, Baby Snuggle. And that one looks really nice, worked up, and I enjoyed crocheting with it, but it does fall apart, like shed like crazy when I'm trying to sew with it. So I won't buy that anymore, because yeah, it was nice while I was working with it, but not when I needed to sew in ends. Ugh, that was a nightmare. So Burnout Blanket is Burnout Blanket is my favorite, but they have so few colors, but that's what I've decided I love. So I made this pink one. The pattern is called Bear Lovey by Elena, cannot say the last name, but I purchased it on Etsy, and it's Lisa Knits. So I will have show notes in the description box below where you can find things if I have links to things. So that was really fun, but then I wanted one for a boy, and I could not find at Michael's, with Joann's being closed, I could not find a comparable yarn that was brown to make a really cute little brown one. So there was a video tutorial. Was it a video tutorial? No, it's just the pattern. They recommended the yarn that they use to make a brown one in the coffee colorway. I ordered it on Amazon because that's where I could find it. And I thought, well, maybe this one will be a good one. So I purchased the same yarn that they used in the pattern, and I did not like that one. It made an adorable little bear lovey, but it was the same thing. It sheds and falls apart. I mean, once it's all crocheted up, it's fine. But trying to weave in those ends or sew, you know, things on for the nose, or I don't know if you can see the little eyes, things like that, that's not fun. Trying to sew arms on, the little tail on. If you've worked with chenille yarn, you know that this is the challenge, but these worked up so fast. I could make this in a day. I mean, I spent a lot of time in one day doing it, more than I would normally sit and work on projects in a day. But I had like three and a half months straight of a big long flare up where I mostly was just in bed and on the couch. So I had the time to dedicate to doing that. So that was really fun. And I thought, well, I'm not done yet with making loveys. I want to make more. So I found another pattern where I could use my favorite yarn. Well, where is that pattern? Did I write it down? I didn't write that one down. Oh, I did. Okay. It is called the Della Duck Lovey Crochet by Shop Mod Threads on Etsy. Look at this. Oh my word. I've seen different duck ones, but this one is my favorite. Oh, so cute. You sew the eyes instead of doing safety eyes, and they were fun. Really fun. I made 2 of these. I've already given away one. I gave my daughter, when she found out that she was having a boy, I gave her the brown one. I said, whichever one, if you're having a girl, you get this one. If you're having a boy, you get the other one. When we had her gender reveal, we had them out as decor and some other things, but anyways, but these are fun. So I just have been making some fun baby things. I have a basket down here by my side where I've got a stash of baby things ready for gifts, and also for my daughter. We're gonna have some baby showers coming up here. Okay, so any more crochet? Oh, I have one more really fabulous crochet project. I mean, it is to die for, but I'm showing it at the very end in my shop news. Okay, so you're gonna have to stick around for that one. So mostly crochet things. But then when I was making all these blanket squares, I had some scraps and thought, well, how would I use these scraps up? What do I want to do with that? And I just had the thought that I would make some really fast, super chunky ribbed knitted hats. And I didn't use my scraps. That's okay, Luna, I'll let you out. Okay, I just realized what time it was. It's time for the mail lady to come by, and Luna's obsessed with the mail lady because the mail lady loves dogs, and sometimes she brings treats for Luna. So I can't let her out for several hours every day, but then she just whines and whines and whines because she wants to go out, but she behaves poorly. So I can't let her out barking at people and jumping up. And even if the mail lady loves her, gotta curtail this poor behavior. Anyways, so hats. Let me show you the first one. Love it. Love it. Look how cute. I didn't use scraps because the yarns I was using, I had a lot of other ones that I thought, well, they won't make great blanket squares. They're patterned. And then I thought, well, it's not enough to make a full hat unless I hold it triple. So I got 3 skeins that I thought would look good together, and I held 3 skeins of DK weight together to make a super bulky yarn. Would it be super bulky? No, just bulky. And they blended together beautifully, and it worked up so fast. It took me like a day and a half to make it. So I didn't use a pattern. I just kind of did my own thing. I cast on some stitches with some needles and went, nope, that needle's too small. So I ripped it out and cast on with a bigger needle, and then went, nope, that stitch count doesn't work. So I ripped it out again. What am I looking for? I'm looking for my notes on this hat, but that's the wrong book. And so I ripped it out 3 times, but I didn't really care because I was excited about it. What I ended up doing is I cast on 72 stitches on a US 10.5, which is 6.5 millimeters. And I used a 16-inch circular hook. And I was holding 3 strands of DK weight baby acrylic yarn together. So I knit just 1 by 1 ribbing, and then I knit 9 inches to from the cast on edge, and then I did decreases in, I separated it onto 4 DPNs, and I decreased on either end of each DPN. And I did that every other row. And that used how much yarn? I thought I had it written down. Nope. I didn't write down how much. It seemed like it used... Nope, don't remember. Anyways, doesn't matter. So then I started a second one. And the second one was mostly purples. I had 3 skeins. One was just white. Another one was just purple. And then another one was patterned. And I held those together. But this time I knit it 1 inch longer, and it fit better. 1 inch longer before I did the decreases, and it fit better. So I went back and I unpicked this one, the decreases, and I rejoined the three yarns, and I knitted 1 inch longer, and then I did the decreases. And so that one fits better. So I recommend knitting it to 9.5 to 10 inches. I'd say 10 inches before starting the decreases. So then I had little bits left over of both of those hats and thought, well, let's use those and just mix and match, holding 3 strands together and, you know, blend them in and out of each other. Just when I run out of one, start another one. So I did that, but I realized really quickly that I was not going to have enough yarn. You can see ends I haven't trimmed yet. So starting here, I added in a full skein of another one that's peach, and I held it throughout this whole thing except for that little bit there. So I definitely needed to do that because by the end I ran out completely and it's all the peach color. But I think it's really cute. Then I thought, you know, I'm gonna try steam blocking. I've never done steam blocking on acrylic yarn, but I've heard it does magical things. So I steam blocked this one and all of a sudden it just went like, oh, relaxed. It was like, oh, super loose and floppy. And it doesn't look as good as these. These hold up and look a lot nicer. And this one is just kind of like, ooh, floppy. So I don't know if I can go back to how it was before, if I wash it or I don't know. I shouldn't have steam blocked it. I just thought, oh, I'm gonna give it a try. I think it's good for garments, you know, like sweaters, cardigans, but not so much for hats. I mean, it looks good on. It's fine on. I guess that's what matters. But now all I want to do is go find three yarns to hold together because it's so fun just seeing what it's going to look like and knit bulky hats. That has been really fun. Okay, what else? All year long I've been working on making knitted or crocheted gifts for my girls. So for Nadia, my youngest, her birthday's in the spring and I made her the granny square cardigan. And then my daughter Claire, her birthday's in September and I made her this really beautiful lace, alpaca lace weight wrap that she wanted, and I didn't even take a picture of it. I'm sad about that. I need to get one because it is beautiful. And then Ella's birthday is in October and I made her, I don't have that here because I've already given it to her, but I have pictures. I made her the Alchemist Slipover, and this is a pattern by Wool and Pine Designs. And I have a picture of it here before I blocked it. And before I added in the ties on it, but it looks beautiful on her and she really likes it. It's a colorway that I just made up for her, just a color that I thought this suits her. And I used just over 2 skeins. I mean, all I needed was I had to dip into a 3rd skein to do the ribbing around the neck. And what size did I make hers? I think I did the medium. I did the 2nd size, the 36-inch bust. Yep. So I dyed yarn myself for it, and I didn't know how much I was going to need, so I dyed extra. There's no name for it. This is just the Ella's custom colorway, but it's a really beautiful tonal variegation. Teals, greens, grays, on DK weight, merino wool and nylon yarn. So that was fun to make. And then, oh, this one is so fun. I forgot to mention that we're into knitting now. Okay, this spring I made my granddaughter a bunny pullover, and that was adorable. And then I thought, okay, well, I need to make something for my grandson. But by the time I got the bunny sweater knit for my granddaughter, it was getting warm. So I thought, well, we don't need it now until fall at least. So I didn't really worry about it and just recently started making something for my grandson. So let me find the photo of what I'm making. Here it is. This is what I'm making, the little Dinosaur Explorer hooded cardigan pattern. And this is by Jane Burns of Whimsical Designs. And so it's a cardigan with a hood, and it has little spikes down the back, and it has a tail, but I'm not doing the tail. My grandson is obsessed with dinosaurs, obsessed. My granddaughter loves them as well, but they go probably at least once a week to Dinosaur Museum. They have a membership to somewhere where there's a dinosaur museum, and he is so funny. He's 2 years old, and we were going to eat somewhere, and he says, "Mom, can I roar?" And she says, not in the restaurant. You can't roar in the restaurant. He says, "Can I roar outside?" And she says, "Okay." So he's roaring, how he was saying it. And then we come back outside to get in the car, and he says, "Mom, can I roar in the car?" And she says, "Yes." "Can I roar loud?" And so he's just in the back seat, roar. And then at night, almost every night, he just crawls around on the floor roaring. So he's so funny. It is so fun being a grandma. So I have made the cardigan, and I made the 4 to 5 year old size because I was worried, like, he is really tall for his age. So I didn't want to make something that he was only going to be able to wear for 1 year. So I went up one size, but it seems awfully big. But I guess the good part is that he can roll up the sleeves and wear it for a long time. But this is, once again, a custom dyed yarn I dyed just for this project. Though my Almond Joy colorway is almost identical, it just doesn't have speckling. Like the Almond Joy has some speckles, and this one is just tonal. Oh, I love it. I wanted it to be mottled, not a solid color, because dinosaurs, it just seemed like that would suit him. And blue is his favorite color. He always says that, "That's my favorite. That's my favorite." And he points that out. And anytime he gets crayons, he holds up the blue and, "This is my favorite." So he's just so fun. So I'll tell you, this pattern, it's knit all in pieces. Everything is seamed up, and I didn't want to do that. So I had to adapt and adapt and adapt. And by the time I was done, I've pretty much reworked the whole pattern. So changed up stitch counts a little bit and the method. I picked up stitches for the sleeves and knit down. So I kind of had to reverse engineer, because they have you cast on and knit up and then seam it together. And then have you add the button bands on each piece, and then work the hood, and then add the band on the front, and then seam it together. And I wanted to do it all in one piece. And then I was looking at pictures, and every project page photo, the bands, they're actually seed stitch, which I changed to 2x2 ribbing, but they all flared out. So I did ribbing because ribbing would pull in more, but also I picked up a different amount of stitches. I did not follow the recommendation for that. I watched a video on YouTube on how to figure out your correct ratio according to your gauge for how many stitches per how many rows to pick up for button bands. And then for the hood, I did fewer because I wanted it to pull it in and not just be straight. Let me show you what I mean. I didn't want it to come straight out. I wanted it to cinch things in, because you want hoods to come in more. So I wanted this to be straight and this to pull in a bit. So I did different ratios, and it worked out great. But I had to just rework you know, kind of the whole thing. I used the pattern as the framework, but kind of did a lot of reverse engineering. I worked this part in the round, and then I followed their directions for, you know, up the sides and seaming together on the shoulders. And then I picked up stitches and knit it down, like reverse engineered it down instead of up. And then I was going to pick up stitches along here and knit the hood up, but then I realized that would make it not as sturdy. And so we needed a seam here for it to be more structurally stable. So I seamed that. This has a seam on the top, but if I had worked it top down, if I had reverse engineered that, because I forgot about doing that, then I could have knit this panel, and then you go back and pick up stitches and work it back and forth without having to seam. But I forgot about that, so it is seamed. It's a busy day out there. So now what I need to do is I need to finish knitting the spikes. So let me show you what colors they're going to be. And I'm sure that there is a proper name. My grandson would know. He knows all the names of all the dinosaurs. I don't even know. Something Steph, I can't even say. He knows these really long, complicated names of dinosaurs. And at 2 years old, I'm like, that's quite impressive. Okay. I'm sure there's a proper term for these spikes though, but these are the colors I'm using. Yes, I dyed up 100-gram skeins, and I do not need anywhere near that amount. I could have done 50-gram skeins, which I was like, that would be preferable, but this is actually a sport weight yarn, and I only have 50-gram skeins in DK weight. So I'm gonna have a lot of extra yarn in these colors. So I have knit the spikes in this color, which to me is kind of like a bone color. It's very similar, or might even be the same as my coconut colorway. I've got those made, and I've got one made of this golden color. And then I need to finish that and then do these green ones and sew that on. No, you can't go out. No, you have to learn how to behave out there. So I need to block this. I haven't blocked this yet. I did steam blocking on the button bands and around here to make sure it was going to lay how I wanted so I could sew the buttons on. But I need to block it so I know what size and how the stitches will lay. And then I want to take a ribbon and sew it on the inside down the center before I add the spikes, so that it'll have a little bit more sturdiness. So I'm going to try and finish that up in the next week so I can give it to my grandson so he can wear it now that it's getting cooler. And then I will be casting on a new baby project, which I can't share on here because my daughter might watch. But once I've given it to her, then I can share it. Okay, so now I want to share what I made and what was made for me from my knitting group. We have an annual secret swap. So where we swap yarn and make something out of that yarn for the person who gave us the yarn. So let me show you what was given to me. It is stunning, stunning. This is from my friend Margaret. She's Knit by Gramsy on Instagram. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I have some pictures that I can put here. So this pattern is called Autumn in the Foothills by Huga Canyon Knits, and she made this using my Seabed Sparkle colorway. That was the yarn that I put in the swap. And then she added on a white skein, not a cream like a bear yarn, but a white one. And I love how that looks. It just looks so fresh. Just love that. And so there's times where you hold, let's get this closer. So here's the white yarn, and then here is the seabed sparkle, but in between, you hold them together. And she said you use a different size needle for that than these sections. And so they kind of blend together really beautifully. So that one is really fun. That is just such a fun night when we all get together and exchange the things that we've been making for each other. Oh, we have so many laughs and so many smiles that our face hurts. We were all massaging our cheeks, and I said next year we need to all bring, the face rollers, because I use that on my jaw regularly. So we need to bring those. And then I didn't take a picture of what I made for my swap partner, but she did send me a picture. I made the Crystal Fantasy Shawl by Joji Locatelli. And this is for my friend Sina, and she put in our swap an MCN blend, which is merino cashmere nylon. And it was a fingering weight yarn. And then I dyed a matching mohair, cotton candy mohair, and I'm trying to remember which colorway I used that matched it, but it matched it so perfectly. So that one was just a beautiful project, and I was really happy with the end result. I can't say that I really enjoyed the process of it though. I'm not sure why. I love knitting with lace weight yarn and mohair, love that. Yeah, I don't know exactly why I didn't enjoy the process so much, but I think the project was beautiful. So very happy about the project. So that's all the projects that I brought to share with you today, except for one that will be in shop news. So let's jump into shop news now. Where to start? I have 4 different things I want to share in shop news. Let's start with the really exciting one. Here we go. I've had a lot of people ask me if I'm doing an advent calendar this year, and I've told them no, but I am doing something fun for Christmas and something advent adjacent, advent-ish. So just keep watching for it. And now I'm ready to share what it is. It is a non-secret 12-day Advent countdown. So it is an Advent, but it's not a secret. So here we go. It is a really classic Christmas vibe. And what it is called is Christmas by the Hearthside, a 12-day Advent calendar. And it's a no fuss, no frills kind of thing. So if you are somebody that you like the idea of an Advent, but one, you want to know exactly what you're going to get, so you don't like that things are a surprise and you don't know what the colors are going to be exactly, and you don't know what order they're going to be in, then this is for you. Or 2, if you are somebody that you're like, 24 mini skeins is just too many, then this is for you. Or if you're like, I really want an Advent, but they are really expensive, then this one is for you. So let me tell you about it. I have some pictures to post right here. Here's the inspiration kind of graphic, and the whole feeling that I was going for was just a really cozy, classic Christmas vibe. Like you're sitting in a log cabin by the fireplace, knitting, drinking hot chocolate or eggnog, and just all the really comfort classic feels. And It's different than the last two that I have done, because normally the other ones are really non-traditional Christmas colors or themes, but this one is very traditional, where it's got the really deep, rich reds and greens and blues and teals. And it also has a traditional Christmas theme, including religious elements to it. And so here's, I've been showing pictures of the colorways, and you will get to know what the colors are. It's not a secret. I do have them like in order listed. I have them labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you want to go with the order that I've chosen. But if you don't want to, you can mix and match. You can open them all up. You can, do it however you want to do. You can do that anyways if you get an advent calendar. Just saying. You can open it when you want to open it. It's yours. You can rearrange it. You can use 2 of the skeins and use the other ones in other things. You can mix and match advents and put them together. When you buy yarn, it's yours. You get to do what you want with it. Okay, so there's 12 mini skeins, 20 grams each, and I have only 3 of those sets are DK and the rest are fingering weight, and I'm not doing a lot of them. I only have 29 total. I'm not doing very many. It's very scaled back. I have done very low commitment this year in just about everything because of just life and my health, and I just knew I needed to. So there's not a ton of them, but not everybody wants to do something quite like this. And then there is an option where you can add on a full undyed skein, and I have different bases available because some people like to extend theirs a little bit, or have that to kind of tie things together, like put a little bit of bare yarn in between each colors in projects, or say you get mohair, you want to hold it double sometimes, or not hold it double and have the bare yarn, like the bare mohair by itself and then the mini skein. It's really up to you. Use it however you like. I do have some ideas of things that you can make with this that I will include in the box. I will have a list of suggested patterns. But this one I just put in, it's not quite undyed. It is a very subtly dyed one. This one is Follow the White Rabbit. So you can get this without an extra undyed skein, but you can also add on one if you choose to. But if you choose to add on more than one, they'd have to be shipped separately, may not fit in the box. So anyways, that's the first thing. Those will be available November 1st. And I'm really excited about it. Okay, the next one is the one with the beautiful project. Okay, I cannot with this project. It's so fantastic. Are you ready? You should be sitting down because it's so fabulous. Here we go. Do you see that fringe? I'm gonna show you. Let's have a look first, and then I'll tell you about this project. We're gonna start right here and go along and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going and going and going. Oh my word. Okay, I've got pictures to post up here. This is called the Stash Busting Butterfly Crochet Shawl by Brianna K Designs, and it is a YouTube tutorial and a pattern that I purchased, I think, on Etsy. And what it is it's fingering weight yarn held triple. And so that's where she shows you in the YouTube channel how to do that, how to hold one skein of yarn triple. And it's kind of like chain plying. If you've ever done spinning yarn yourself and you're plying and you do the chain ply, it's the same method. If you haven't done that before, doesn't matter, there's a tutorial on how to do it. And that way you can get a worsted weight yarn with your fingering weight yarn. And it also helps blend colors together so well. If you have something that's tonal or variegated and you're holding it triple, it really blends things together. But if you want to blend it even more, this crochet was not, this shawl was not crocheted by me. It was crocheted by, once again, Wendy, my friend Wendy, Granny Pan Knits. She's on Instagram and on YouTube. She made the shop sample for me. And what she did is sometimes she held one color double by pulling from the inside and the outside of a cake. Do I have any cakes around here to do that with? No. To pull from the inside and the outside at the same time, and then one strand from another cake, and then she'd have 3 together, and that would blend. So like here, she's holding 3 strands of the same yarns together. You're okay, Luna. But then here, let's see the difference, if you can kind of see. So she did it where it's so subtle. She held 2 of one color and 1 of another together. But then over here, it's all the same of that second color. Can we see how it blends? It's hard to see here. But what she did is she made a chart. Are you ready? She's so smart. You need to be able to see this chart really well, and you can screenshot this if you're going to make this. Are you ready? Wait, is that the right way? Okay, get ready to see her masterwork. I got to make sure that it's okay. There. You can hit pause. You can screenshot that, where you can see she made a chart of how she held the colors together. So she had colors A through F, and here she held 3 strands of A together. And here you can see she has 2 strands of B and 1 strand of A. Over here she has all 3 strands C, and then she has B, C, C. That just shows you how many strands of each color she held together in each one of those hexagons, each one of those motifs. So if you want to do that and get really complex, you can. But I'm going to tell you, you don't have to do that. You can just do it exactly as the pattern is written, and it works great. So the yarn that she used for this, I should have told you that much earlier, is my Lollipop Lane collection. Let me show you. It's 6 colorways. So we have Bluebell Tonic, Saltwater Sundae, Citrus Drop Delight. So these are the blue greens. And then we go into peaches and pinks. Strawberry Cream Float, Peach Melba Swirl, and Pink Parlor Cream. So we've got pinks and peaches, minty greens, and teals. Oh, so pretty. So she used that whole collection to make this, and then I added on the fringe, and let me show you how much was left after doing that. That much. That's it. This is like a no waste project. If I really wanted to, I could have added on the rest of these for fringe and just had more fringe. I just cut whatever was left, and she even included the tails that she cut off for me, and I could include that in the fringe. So this is like, that's all that's left. It's so great. You know, when you get a fade or a collection, you're like, what to do with it? Now, this is really big. And this could be made smaller if instead of holding it triple, you held it double and used a smaller crochet hook. Then you would have smaller motifs, and then it wouldn't be quite as big, and you wouldn't use quite as much yarn. But oh, it's just to die for. Love it. So I have this collection available in my shop, but I also have dyed it in mini skeins. So I have the mini skein bundle, all 6 of those colors together. I just love these colors year round. And this was actually a request from a customer. She sent me a color palette and she wanted me to custom dye her a fade kind of for her. She told me what types of look she was going for, but kind of gave me free range. She's like, here's the colors, and I created that, and oh my word, I loved it so much. It's like, thank you for that suggestion, for that idea. So that is the Lollipop Lane collection. Okay, 2 more. Here's another new collection, and oh my word, I loved making this one. This was another custom request from a customer who wanted something for the Stephen West mystery knit along that he does every fall. And she sent me a color palette that she wanted, and I did a whole bunch of sample swatches, and then she kind of picked what she wanted from it. And I loved some of them, like just so much. And then I took that and made a different collection. So this is called the Happy Haunts collection, and this is for anybody who is a fan of the Haunted Mansion. So if you love the Haunted Mansion, this is for you. You'll see why. Are you ready? Oh, I don't have the band on this one. Okay, this one is called Foolish Mortals. I love this. And this one really is the color, like the patina on the plaque of the sign there, but it's also the color on some of the cast members' costumes. And then this one is Ghost Host, which is another color from the sign and throughout on some of the costumes. Then we have Haunted Halls. If you are familiar with that iconic wallpaper that has the eyes, then you'll be familiar with this color, as well as these, because the eyes, we have this and this. This one is Doom Buggy, which is also my black licorice colorway, but I had to give it a fun Haunted Mansion themed name. So it's Doom Buggy, aka black licorice. Same thing with this one. This one is Phantom Waltz, aka gray stuff. So all together, we have this fantastic collection that's really fun for Halloween, but I just like it in general, especially, oh my word, these two together are my favorite. I just can't get enough of this one, just these two together, super fun. Oh, these 3 together look fantastic for a 3-color project. Just really fun. So I did dye some yarn this color for an upcoming baby project. Really excited about making that one. So I have those in full skeins, not in mini skeins, but I do have some sock sets where this is the full skein and this is the mini. But I also have these both as full skeins. And then I have sock sets where this is the full skein and there are 2 minis in these colors. So I have all of those available in my shop. And then the last one I wanted to share with you, this collection, this was, I mentioned a request from Wendy, who wanted some neons and really bright and super saturated colors to make a crocheted vest. And so I made this for her, but thought these are so fun. Lots of people want them. I know I want them. So I have mini skeins this is called Laser Tag Collection. Love it. And many of these colors are ones that have, already available in my shop in one way or another. Like this one is Jolly Joe's and this one's Sour Watermelon. No, this one's Jolly Joe's, sorry. And Sour Watermelon. And Lisa, no, this one's not Lisa Pink. What is that one called? I'm trying to remember. This one's Cinnamon Bears. But then there are other ones that I added in. So, I'm trying to remember the name of some of them. Doesn't really matter. All together, altogether, this is Laser Tag. Super iconic, really bright, colorful, fun way to add just a pop of color to whatever project. Like you could use this all together, but this would be fun palette to just have in your stash. So when you need a really bright neon color, you're ready to go. And not all of them glow under a black light, but you know, you've got to have a balance. You don't want everything to be bright like this. So we've got some that are deeply saturated, you know, to kind of balance that out. But I just love bright colors. Oh, okay. That was pretty good for not having been here for months and months on end. And if you stuck around all the way to the end, thank you so much. It's been a year. How about for you? What's your year been like? I hope you've had a good year. I mean, the year's not over. So I wanted to share with you something that I'm doing with one of my friends, Jules from So Sweet Violet. If you have watched her YouTube channel or have been part of her Patreon or on Instagram, she has been a shop curator for many years, a maker, and closed her shop this year at the beginning of this year, or was it the end of last year? I'm trying to remember when. Can't remember when. But she and I have been chatting about our goals for making over the next year. And she and I have decided that we're going to be doing something that I've been referring to as from the stash. So we're not having a no-buy year. What our goal is to use the things that we've already collected that we love. I say collected, really it's hoarding for me. That I've held on to that I haven't used. I want to use them. But sometimes trying to use them, you find, well, I don't have everything I need, but I really want to use this yarn. But in order to use this yarn, I might need to get something to go with it. So what it is we're trying to go to our stash first for things and see, do we have what we need for this project, and be really mindful about using those things that we already love. And then we'll purchase so we can use the things that we already have. So we might trade, purchase, thrift, whatever, in order to get the things that we need to use what we already have. I say I'm not doing a no-buy because that feels really restrictive and unnecessary. I don't feel that I need to do a no-buy, but I would like to use what I have. I think about patchwork, like I love quilting, and that's been the thing that I've really been focusing on this year. I've done a lot of quilting this year. And the whole idea of patchwork began with using up the scraps of things that you already had. Like you may have made clothing and there were scraps left from that you would put into a quilt, or you had an old dress that no longer worked, or it was threadbare and you'd pick and cut out good spots from it to go into patchwork. And things don't always match and coordinate perfectly, but it didn't matter. You're making something beautiful from what you already had. And so the idea of going and buying entire collections of fabric and, you know, like gotta jump and get all those new collections is really fun, but it kind of goes against the whole idea of what patchwork really began as, quilting. And so I have a lot of quilting fabrics and I have a lot of scraps of things, and I'd love to use them rather than always be buying the next thing. And so while I am a shop curator, I'm a yarn dyer, and I love to sell things to people, I also encourage you to use what you have. Don't hoard it. Don't say, oh, I can't get this again, so I don't want to use it. No, use what you love, because guess what? Tomorrow there'll be another thing that you love just as much. So use them. I found that there are yarns that I've purchased that I thought I could never live without, that I never used because I was so afraid of using it, that now I don't even love it that much anymore. It's not even my style that much anymore. I wish I had used it when I loved it so I could have enjoyed it more. And the same thing goes for fabric. I have fabric that I have held onto for years because it was too precious. And now I'm just like, no, what was I holding on to that for? Why did I love that so much? So I don't want to fall out of love of things before I use them. So that's what she and I are doing, and we've already started that. We're not doing a like January to December. We're just doing that. And I was telling her, you know, I don't want to put all these restrictions on it because I'm not really great with that. I don't want to say, oh, January to December. And then I find in September that I'm like, this no longer really suits my purpose, and feeling, you know, restricted by that. We're just doing it informally. But if you want to join us, you're welcome to. You can do your own thing too. I have no problem. If people want to buy things, or if people want to use only from stash, nothing else. If people are like, no, I only do thrifted things, or only, like, you do what you love and enjoy your making. That's the whole point. Like, if we were knitting to save money, that would be kind of silly because it costs way more to knit a sweater than to go out and buy one. We do it because we love it, which is why this year I've just been like, I'm only making whatever makes me really happy to make. That's it. The end. I don't want to feel stressed and pressured about it. I'm not stressing about gift knitting. I'm making it as I feel excited about doing it. And when I no longer feel excited about doing it, I'm just setting it aside and I'll come back to it. And I'm usually one that it's like, I want to finish every single project, but I have like a quilt project that I set aside. I'll come back to work on it later because I stopped enjoying it. And later on I'll go back and I will enjoy it again. But I do like finishing things. I don't like feeling that weight. It feels kind of heavy of having too many things looming over me that are unfinished. But so I don't want to start a lot of things. That's why I like small bite-sized projects that I can start and finish. But like making a baby blanket, even that seems a bit too big for me right now. So I'm making it until I don't want to anymore. And I'll put it away and I can come back to it. But that's never really been me so much. I'm like, no, it might take me a long time to finish something because I have too many things in the works, but I'm not one normally to put something away and then come back to it because I'm not enjoying it. But that's what I'm doing right now. I am trying to be just really aware of what I'm making. Like, is it something that I'll use? How will I use it? Who is it going to? You know, like the hats, I know what I'm doing with, and the baby things, I always wish that I had a stash to pull from when somebody was having a baby, and I never did. So now I'm creating that so it's ready to go. I'm making some baby things to pull from, and I'm dyeing the yarn or using what I have when I'm ready to make the project rather than someday. It's helping me to feel a lot better about my making. One thing that I found is I just feel a lot of anxiety about the changing of seasons, and I've figured out what it is. It's that stores, influencers online, I'm trying to think of all the different areas in life that I see are pushing for the next season or the one beyond that before we finish the one we're in right now. And I always feel like, okay, well, it's almost summer when school will be out, and summer, I love summer. I love it so much. It feels very carefree, even though there's so much going on, that it has that idea in my mind of it being a very relaxed and carefree feeling. And before I've even gotten to it, already the stores are like, hey, get ready for back to school things. And I'm like, what? We haven't even had summer yet. And already it's like, get your school supplies and get your fall things ready. And I went to Hobby Lobby. I remember seeing Christmas things coming out like in July. I'm thinking, we're not even to Thanksgiving yet in the US, or Halloween yet, and already it's Christmas things, and I can't enjoy the season I'm in when I'm in it. And there's a lot of discontent because it's always like jumping to the next thing. And I've just decided I'm just like shutting all of that down. I'm not really good in my shop about preparing months in advance for the coming seasons, which I should be as a yarn dyer. But instead it's like, okay, now we're in the summer, I'm creating my summer colorways. And now we're just starting into the fall, I'm creating my fall colorways, like to give to you. But I know people want the next thing before it's time, and it makes me feel anxious and stressed. So I'm just tuning out all of the outside world, and I am enjoying the moment I am in right now. When you spend a lot of your time in bed wishing you could do things, like I find that I just need to be thankful for right now, thankful for this moment. And whatever this moment holds, I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for life, you know? So even if that life is in bed, even if that life is not feeling great, I'm thankful for it. And if that life is summer, I'm thankful for it. And if that life is fall, I'm thankful for it. Like, but I want to enjoy it in that moment. So I'm just doing my best to live a lot more relaxed. If that speaks to you, that's great, but you know, we're all a little bit different. I'm just really feeling that draw to the classic cozy vibes of whatever the season is. Okay, thanks for sharing your day with me as I go on some rants. As usual, I'm usually quite a ranty person. And I hope you enjoy what you're making, and I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below, what you're working on, how life is going for you. I've just missed you so much, and I've missed our connection together. And I hope to be able to be back again. We'll see. Things are always fluctuating, but I'd like to be able to connect with you some more. So I'll see you again soon. Bye.